May17 KTH. Brian Seeds here with producer Greg.
We have so much super content to get to this segment. I didn't want to waste any more time.
By the way, for the record, Albert Pujols coming in the ninth inning for the 15-3 leading St. Louis Cardinals. He wins the game. He gives up, amazingly, 2 solo home runs. They win 15-6. He gives up 2 solo home runs with his scorching 49-mile-per-hour fastball. So that's from last night, if you care. It's National League stuff, folks. It's called Real Baseball. Look it up. All right. So it was funny because we just played a promo with me on Kennedy, and I was saying about a week and a half ago that the Russian army is going to begin to disintegrate in about 8 days or more. Well, it's 8 days or more, and they're disintegrating. And what I mean by this, not to get too deep in the weeds on TV, where there's no time, but it's got my name on it. What is happening now is again, remember, amateurs talk strategy, strategists talk logistics. Their stuff is breaking. If it's not getting blown up, granted, the Russians have lost in combat 1/3 of the combat power they had 90 days ago in Belarus and surrounding Ukraine. But you drive tanks for 5 days hard, they break. No, tanks aren't built like tanks. That's the ironic thing about tanks. The reason the United States will never have a 3-man crew tank or a 2-man crew tank is because you need 4 people. And I don't care what their sex is, but they better be strong. Because tanks, crap is heavy. Tracks are heavy and all this. 90 days of hard operation. And the Russians are at, I think, day 82 of this thing. Stuff is breaking. And they do nothing without tanks. And it's happening right before Putin's eyes. He's not being told this because he wouldn't know. He was a lieutenant colonel in the KGB. The guy's never been in a tank in his life unless he was the president of Russia. But you run stuff this hard, it breaks. And they just don't have the infrastructure in the field to fix their stuff. And you have to have an experienced crew. You go to Yakima, anything that's tracked stays in Yakima. Whenever you see the strikers driving from Fort Lewis over I-90 and all that, that's because they have wheels. Because the fuel economy is better with them loading up here and driving there. You don't drive a tank to Yakima. You leave it there. And even if you just drive it Friday night, Saturday, and then turn it in on Sunday, you got to maintain the crap out of it. Never mind 85 days. So anyway, listen to me, folks. I'm not beating you over the head with it.
Do you want to hear some of the Ukrainian deputy prime minister talking about the gains their military is making?
But no comment about Albert Pujols.
The Russian troops has been moving away from the major parts of the western Ukraine in Kharkiv and Zaporizhia regions, which are just near the Donetsk and Lugansk regions. But we are not over optimistic in that regard. We see that Putin has readjusted his strategy. And he goes on the only possible winning scenario for him is the long-lasting war, which is not the case for us and for the democratic world. So we're gaining back a significant amount of our territories around Ukraine, but the unconditional victory still remains as the way forward.
Well, the logistical momentum has absolutely shifted, and Putin is unaware that there is such a thing. But the resupply and the wholesale re-equipping of the Ukrainian military to NATO standard is underway, and the results are already in. The kids love it. The American the howitzer that the United States, UK, Canada, and Australia have given the Ukrainians that we've been using for over 10 years in Afghanistan, the what's called the 777. It's a battle winner. And in this artillery duel, it's better than the Russian counterpart. It's longer range. It can move faster, the whole thing. And this is not, a documentary. There's another platform where I get to lecture without, commercials and all that. But the parallels with all the mistakes that the Third Reich made literally at the same river, in the same zip code are, if it weren't so eerie, I would think it was almost on purpose, because this is the point when the Germans in the summer of 1941 started calling formations that used to be a Panzer division on June 21st, 1941. by July, it was 12 tanks, and they still called it a division. And this is what the Russians are doing, is they're calling a battalion, which has 3 serviceable tanks, a battalion still. So, well, what's our firefighter today?
But this is a viral video out of Ukraine showing just some of the nature of the conflict on the ground right now. It's Ukrainians in these trenches that are firing back at the Russians, and you hear gunfire, explosions. It looks like it's being filmed with a smartphone with a vertical angle, and all of a sudden there's this big explosion right in the trenches there. And it unfolded like this. It sounds like this. It's partly visual, but you'll get the idea. And then so the screen goes black, and you're like, oh my gosh, did these Ukrainians die? I just saw this massive explosion. Well, no, they didn't die. They were protected. And then he sets up this cell phone camera again, and then he retaliates by sending his own grenade.
Let's frag out in Ukrainian.
Куда едешь? Далеко, тут и далеко берешь. Вот так? Да. Блядь, ветки. Хоть отсюда ебашь.
And it's just crazy. And then you hear this other explosive boom, and then everything goes silent. So the insinuation is the Ukrainians killed some Russians that were really close by to them.
It's amazing to me that it's penetrated so thoroughly that every guy has a helmet-mounted GoPro and all this. And sometimes, like, they were doing that in, remember Armenia versus Azerbaijan 8.0, the Rumble in the Jungle in 2019 or whenever it was, about 3 years ago? Both sides are wearing helmet cams. The Azerbaijanis are overrunning these Armenians and then posting the video of a guy getting killed with his own video camera. And it's I would highly recommend you not do that, or something unfortunate is going to happen. Except that the Ukrainians, there's a Telegram channel for just these highlights. And I mean, I got to say, if we're weighing them over here, Russian highlights over here, because they're doing the same thing, same teenage TikTok generation, the same deal, and but there's way more Ukrainian videos where they seem to be winning these days, and they have a lot more elan and esprit de corps than the Russians are displaying, if by volume. Then there's this entire cadre of guys. When Putin had to outsource his manpower, he went to Chechnya, where he installed the leader who got killed, whose son is now the leader, this guy Ramzan Kadyrov. So he sends a bunch of his elite jihadist, Muslim Sunni jihadist fighters to Ukraine, and they're yelling Allahu Akbar left and right, and they call him Ayatollah Putin. Well, there's no actual combat in their videos, so they're called the TikTokers. What they do is they run out in the street and they fire down the street, and they film each other firing down the street, but they don't film. There's no after effect. There's no walking amongst the blown up tanks. Have you seen all the Russian tanks with Wolverines?
Yes,
written on the barrel, right out of Red Dawn, the original, the good one. Yeah, that's happening. You know who? I don't want to take any of them, but Javier Baccaria is on the. Let me get the Baccaria alert. Well, never mind. All right. Well, wait, right here.
It's a Monday, folks.
Baccaria. Wait, here we go.
Baccaria. Not a joke.
Yes, he's on. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. Everyone have a good Monday, and we'll let the dust settle on certain topics and take it up with a level head tomorrow. God forbid you think about stuff before you make pronouncements, etc. All right, it is AM 770 KTTH. Thanks to Greg. We'll see you back here for Tuesday morning. It is AM 770 KTTH.